Hello, YouTube friends. Dustin Bellinger here, and I had a video up with my two youngest sons sharing their pickups from a card and toy and collectible show that took place here in our hometown over the weekend. So, recording a video to kind of share some of my own pickups from the show. And, pretty good show. They do that one at place at the fairgrounds every year. Uh, Around this time and always gets a really good amount of dealers. There's a lot more toys there than there is cards, but there are a fair number of card dealers, and with the fact that there's toys and other collectibles, the wife's a little bit more interested in tagging along with, and the kids will come, so gets everybody out of the house, and it's not just me going off by myself. So anyway, one of the first places I stopped, I picked up a couple of Griffey cards from one of the tables. I was asking around about some Scott Rowland rookies, and nobody seemed to have anything at the show. I was like looking to get one of those added to my collection now that he's a Hall of Famer, or maybe something. His, but wasn't finding those. But I did find these two Griffies, and just you know the holographics sets were always so shiny and sparkly that just so much fun to look at. So I added these. These cards have a couple of flaws, so they're not gradable or anything. So that's certainly not anything that's a consideration with them. But for cards in a top loader, they just look beautiful, and glad to have them both. Anyway, so those were kind of the more modern pickups. As far as the vintage side, this item right here, these are like a little tray. This is made of metal, and now these were distributed by Wheaties in the 50s. I've seen them before in some auctions. I always thought they were a little bigger than what this is. I thought they were more like 5x7, and now they're more of a like a very large coaster size. Where I always kind of imagined them more as a of a TV, like a plate, a tray sized. So because they're kind of referred to as trays, but anyway, they have these little screws at the top, screw holes at the top for. I assume that's how they were designed to be mounted. But yeah, I've seen them a time or two. Never been able to pick one up, and this guy had one at the show. Dealer I normally stop by and say, "Hey, you got anything new in your vintage stuff that's kind of oddball?" And this was one of the items he'd shown me, and it's like, yes, I think I'll pick one of these up because it's something I'd tried to buy a time or two in the past, but never forked out the money to get it done. And so, new addition to the type collection there. This other item here, this I went by and I was looking at the various dealers and things, and I saw one of these similar to, but with a Joe DiMaggio. It was the DiMaggio picture, and I was like, "That's interesting. I don't recognize it." And it's like I want to find out more. So I stood there for a little bit, and the dealer was talking to one customer, let him finish up with that, and then I asked, "Hey, can I see that stack of these that you have sitting up there?" And he showed them to me, and they were labeled here as being mini posters. And I thought, man, that's interesting. I'm not familiar with these. So they were called Dell mini posters, and I was familiar some with Dell made some sticker sets later on in the 70s, and I assumed, possibly the same company, but I was not familiar with this, and a situation where my guard was not up as far as really thinking through, hey, the what this could be. And it wasn't very expensive at all, which should have been another red flag. And what definitely should have been to a red flag, the fact that two-sided. uh but the reference to them as posters, I was like, gosh, that's interesting. I'm just gonna pick one up. And so, I got it home, and then it's like, oh, I gotta figure out what this is. And come and find out, oh, it is a page cut out from a book. And Dell did like Major League Baseball annuals, where it was, stats and statistics and player rosters. Basically, it was, a publication they put out each year, kind of highlighting the past season and forecasting the new season. They were a yearly periodical, and this is just a page that was cut out from one of those books, and he had several of them that were, page cutouts, and they were, being listed, referenced as posters. And so I was annoyed with myself, one, for not having, I guess, identified what it was right away, and in having, wasted what the few dollars I spent on it, because these items just don't have, when page cutouts just don't have any substantial value. And well, I guess I didn't pay anything substantial for it, so I get, you got what I paid for. But it was just one of those things that was annoying to me. One, because I feel like that dealer's misrepresenting what they're selling. To reference these as posters is just not accurate. I thought perhaps when I see it, maybe it was like a supplement or something like that, which, if it's designed to be removed or detached, certainly supplements have their place, and premiums. I'm a collector of all sorts of oddball things, but cutting pages out of books just is, you know, I know that some collectors have a real hard time with that and don't like it at all. I'm kind of okay with it, but I definitely think that, if that's what you're selling, it needs to be transparent. And the idea of, calling this a poster, um, was, disingenuous to me. And I don't know if, the dealer was just ignorant of what he purchased, because he said he'd gotten these from, he picked them up from somebody's collection that lived, actually in a community maybe an hour away. And it is what it is. But I just, it aggravated myself that, oh, I kind of oh, well, I want this to be something unique and unusual that I haven't seen before, that, it's like, oh, my desire to have that be the case kind of overrode just me considering at all that this would be something that, isn't what it's depicted as being. Anyway, just some rambling thoughts. Didn't mean to turn that into a negative at all, but is what it is, and we'll be transparent even if other people aren't. All right, talk to you later, and we'll see you again.